Hello everyone. Today we are going to understand the Azure AVD networking. Specifically, we are going to understand how exactly a user trying to connect to the AVD session host, how the traffic flows, all the components which are in between, the importance of those components and how exactly they interact, and the security aspect of the traffic. So let's try to understand that through our diagram. So Azure AVD, as we have already understood in our previous video, Azure AVD is a PaaS service. That means the control plane is controlled by Microsoft, just like in Azure AKS. This is our control plane, and these are our session host. Okay. All right. So let me make it little good. And if somebody try to access their Azure AVD app or through web, so what happens? There is internet. Let's suppose it is going through internet. Okay. And we do have Azure AVD, not AVD, but AD, or you could say Enter ID. All right. So what happens here, customer or user, whosoever is using this, try to subscribe to the AVD workspace. Okay, so what it will do, it will subscribe the AVD workspace. So what would happen? The very simple thing, it will ask for authentication, which will go to the enter ID. So what is happening here? Here is a, let me write it down, authentication. And how exactly it happens? It will prompt for username and password. So credentials. Okay, and what happens after enter ID verifies? It will send the token. Okay, right. Now what happened? This token will, this client, the AVD client passes this token to the AVD feed subscription service here. Now, AVD feed subscription service passes the list of available desktop and application back to the client in the form of digital signed connection configuration, or RDP file. We could say RDP files would be visible for all that user has access to. Now, let's suppose user selects one of those resource or RDP file or remote desktop client icon and click on it. Then what happens? Then once it clicks on, yeah, let me write it, clicks on icon remote desktop, then simply a connection gets sent here on the control plane of Azure AVD onto gateway, RD gateway, gateway, Azure Virtual Desktop Gateway instance. And this connection also goes through something interesting which we called front door. Yes, there is a front door in picture. Front door. And what front door does, we all know. Front door uh, helps to find the least latent gateway to them, right? So uh, the latency from all these gateways is evaluated on the front door. Okay, and the gateways with the lowest latency and lowest number of existing connection is chosen to send the traffic through. So we can write here down lowest latency gateway and uh, lowest number of connections. That one is chosen for the connection. Now this gateway, let me highlight it down because this is the app gateway resource. This gateway. Now, connection has reached till gateway through front door. After the validation of the credentials, the token is verified. All those things happened. Now, this gateway validates the request and asks the Azure Virtual Desktop broker to orchestrate the connection. Now, there is something we need to understand here. We have a broker service. Okay, broker service. This is again the service of AVD. So let me put it in a circle. Now, this broker service, whenever the AVD session host startup, there is a service. There is a service name known as Remote Desktop Agent Loader. What is this service? Remote Desktop Agent Loader service. This service activates, okay, and establishes a connection, uh, a persistent connection with the broker. So this connection is already there. Okay. This connection. This is a persistent communication channel, we can say. Persistent communication channel. Okay. It is already there. Okay. Now this connection has reached here. And this guy says to the broker to orchestrate the connection, and broker already has the connection channel established through remote desktop agent loader service. All right, and this is a TLS connection. Okay, and this one too is a TLS connection. Okay, over TLS. Now this remote this broker identifies the session host and uses the this session communication channel, the persistent channel or previously established persistent communication channel to initialize the connection. So it will find out where to connect and then forward this to the gateway in this direction. And this is what the reverse connect is. Okay, this connection not directly hitting to the session host. This one is going here and here, and now this broker which already has these communication channel is connecting the identified session host to this RDP. Okay, so after both client and session host connected to the gateway starts relaying the data between both the endpoints, this gateway. So the connection establishes the base reverse connect transport for the RDP connection through a nested tunnel using the mutually agreed TLS version. So after the base transport is set, the client starts the RDP shake. It is not like the traditional RDP where this guy tried to access something and it directly happens. But just to uh, summarize, this guy tried to access after all those authentication credentials, token, everything. The connection will go to the gateway in this direction. This connection will reach here and gateway will ask broker what all connections you already have. And the session host that you have find out to connect this RDP with, connect this with this connection in a reverse direction. And both of these are TLS connections. So this will secure the connection as well. Okay. So this is how the traffic works in the AVD, and Azure Front Door was something interesting. And yeah, that's all about the networking, understanding the networking or the traffic flow when somebody tries to connect to the Azure AVD. All right, I hope it was interesting and you liked. Thank you for watching, and you guys have a wonderful day.